Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Claude and the Banstas for this new transfer update show. Hopefully, we'll be every day at round about 3 p.m. So everyone, if you can, put the notification bell on, and you'll be notified as soon as we advertise a show at 3 o'clock. Well, any of our shows. We've got the legend himself, Kenny Ken, with us. How you doing, Kenny?
Very nervous. Because it's Crystal Palace. We haven't beaten them in 3 years. Last time we beat them, I think both of us went the game. It was in December 2017. Alexis Sanchez got a couple of goals. But since then, Crystal Palace has been a tough nut to crack for us. In terms of, we don't know which Crystal Palace is going to turn up. They could either be Port Vale or they could be Brazil. But if they turn up like Brazil, they can body us because they've got a lot of pace. They've got players like Zaha, got Eze. They got AU up front. They've got Benteke in a bit of form. They've got Townsend who could play the inverted winger, stroke number 10. They've got so much pace in that team. And also they've got the unknown quantity of their right back, Natty Klein. So in that respect, we've got a lot of pace to contend with. But defensively, they still struggle because they miss Cahill. If Cahill doesn't play, they struggle for an organiser of defence. But it's Crystal Palace's unpredictability is one of the things that scares me more. It's not as if I know what I'm going to get when I play Spurs. I know what I'm going to get when I play Leicester. But with Crystal Palace, you don't know what you're going to get because of the unpredictability. And we're unpredictable as well, although you would say we've made an improvement in the last 4 matches.
Well, listen, we're getting to the Crystal Palace game after we've done a bit of the transfer news, Ken. I just want, because we've got I want to get a few bits going, and then obviously come back to that. I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Hope you're well. Arian, Keon, Sanjay, Sammy, Connor, James. Who else we got here? All right, guys, is in the chat. Lone Star, Alan, Salim, James, Ricardo, another James. I hope you're all well. Thank you very much for coming over. Let's get straight to it, Kenny. The first one that I want to talk about, we're going to do a little bit of a catch up because I haven't shared the screen with you since you've become part of the rat team. So I haven't shared the screen with you.
Anyway, I thought we were talking about transfers. What's that got to do? What's he got to do with that?
We'll get onto that later on. Right, let's get on to this one. First of all, the first one that was out the door, Ken, was Said. What was your feelings on Said? Obviously going on loan to Schalke.
Best news ever. I've never been a fan of Said Kolasinac. The only reason why it's not him as a player, it's the way we played. His best football when he was at Schalke was as a left wing back. So if we were playing a limb back role, then he would have been perfect for it. Which bears the question. He's actually been very unlucky because we have actually played wing backs under Arteta and sometimes under Emery, especially under Arteta. When we've used other players on himself, we used Kieran Tierney at left wing back. We've also used Maitland-Niles. So in that respect, Said has been very unlucky that whenever we have played a left wing back, he's either not been part in the first 11 or he's played in the back three, which doesn't suit his talents as well. Let's not forget what happened against Tottenham Hotspur in that game when we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, mainly because of some confusion between himself and David, where he gave the ball away. Obviously, you don't want that to be his epitaph, but he's never been good enough for the football club. It's a shame. He has been played out of position, but sometimes when you're at a football club like Arsenal, you are going to be asked to do things that displays your football knowledge. Because, at Arsenal, especially under Arsene Wenger, he played a lot of these players out of position. Nasri has played out of position when he first came to the club. Also, so was Perez. People arguably say that Aubameyang's been played out of position at the club. But you have to perform when you play. Because the expectations of the football club are so high that has to happen. He's become a squad player, and he's become a situation where we're over our capacity in players. We only need a 25-man squad. He's been surplus to requirement, and it was a great deal for him. Most importantly thing as well, I'm more happy for Said the man. Said the man hasn't recovered mentally because of what the situation with Mesut Ozil. Obviously, Mesut Ozil was the victim, someone he's trying to protect. But the fact of the matter is that in this country, he's a guest in this country, albeit playing for Arsenal. Someone pulled a knife on him and his mate.
Yeah.
And you can't get past that. So he's going to want to go back to Germany where he grew up, where he was born, and feel safe. His family are going to say, please come. How you doing, mate? Oh, hello, Shabs. You good, mate? Long time. That's Red Butt Red. All right, Shabs, you naughty boy. Love you loads. So as you said before, you've got to think about the man and the fact that there was a great desire for him and his family to go back to Germany. But for a footballing side, very disappointed because I had some high hopes for him. Massive hopes for the guy. Because, in my opinion, if we played him in the right position and if he got himself Premiership fit, I think we could have seen a good player. But we never saw that. And that's a massive challenge for players who come to this country from leagues like Bundesliga, La Liga in France, La Liga. Get yourself fit. Because it's not like your leagues where it's quick, slow. You're going to be there's going to be times when you're going to be on the back foot a lot. And there's going to be times when you're going to be a front foot. And it's basically helter-skelter. There is no time to rest. And if you're not fit, then you're going to struggle. If you're not going to sort of grasp the defensive aspects of your game, which Said never did, because he's more a wing-back, then you're going to struggle. So for me, from a footballing side, it's not a loss. And I'm happy for him as a man. He's where he wants to be for family reasons.
No, I totally agree with most of the things you said, Kenny, to be honest. For me, I think he was a much better player going forward than defending. If I had to have him in my team, I'd rather him play something like as a left midfielder or a left winger. He's no good as a left back for me. He's just no good at defending. He's quite fast. He's quite, strong. Let's be honest, going forward, that's where his best playing position was, because sometimes in games he would get past like what Tierney does, nowhere near that, but I'm saying, he gets down that win and he crossed the ball in, but he's just not, we're being real, Ken, he's just not good enough for Arsenal Football Club.
I think that's the conclusion we should all come to as well when we are letting players go. Like, you either let players go because it hasn't worked out for them, i.e. they're not good enough, or they've come to the end of the time and you want an upgrade on the player that you have that is at the football club. And, States has never been good enough for me.
Randy Viper, thank you very much for your super chat. He said, thoughts on Balogun to Lizip and Kenny Evius squat. What's your Evius squat?
I don't know. I could do the old bit. I could do a lot more. I could do a heavier squat. Not now, but when I'm in the mood, I could do the old rack. If you want, whatever rack you want, I could do it because I've got strong legs, and I've got endurance as well. To the extent I love the play. I love the fact that I can squat, can hold it for a bit, and you know what I mean. And I could do a good leg press as well, the whole squat as well, if you want. But that's before, because I think what's happening now is that when you do all of that, you don't realise is that you're putting pressure on your insides. Your heart and your brain and everything. You know what I mean? Strain.
No, yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I definitely want you in my team, Kenny.
I don't know, man. I think I need to get a bit fitter than Slade for the play and a bit leaner.
We will be getting onto Balogun a little bit in the show, Randy, so we'll come back to that, mate. Just quickly, Lee Chappie in the chat. How you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Hope you're all safe and that. He says, hi, mate. It's been a while. It has. We definitely have to get you back on soon, mate. Tom saying Balogun to Lysip, no truth in it. We will get onto that, like I said. Let's move on to the next one, Ken, which is, let me just get it up. This one here, and that is obviously, where's it gone? Matt Macy has gone to a Burnian.
Well, the thing with Matt is that he's never. I think what it was is, again, that was a lot to do with freeing up the place for the squad, and also there's a situation as well where he's he hasn't been proved to be good enough to even be our number 2. Hence the fact that we bought Rumours in the first place. And he's never knocked on that door. So for him and his career, because football's a career, I'm sure he's an Arsenal fan. I'm sure he loves the football club. I'm sure he loves training with the first team. But he has to get his career up and running. And, there's a vacancy in Scottish football. So in terms of like the situation for Matt Macey, I'm very, very happy for him that he's leaving the football club. And in terms of like trimming our squad, more than happy as well. Because, again, he hasn't really troubled the scorers, has he? In terms of like trying to, fight for the place. He wasn't exactly pushing Martinez very close, was he? And Martinez was arguably not pushing Leno very close until Leno got injured. So if you're not getting in that first team and you want a career on the big stage or any stage of football, because remember, football's a career. It's not just being part of a club and saying, "Oh, we're having the Arsenal bag," and going down your hometown and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'll play for Arsenal." "Oh yeah, when are you playing then?" "Oh, well, play for the under-23s. I don't know. I'll play on a Friday, but I don't get a game." No. Football's a career. Go and earn your career somewhere else. You know what I mean?
No, there's nothing I can add to that, Ken. I totally agree with you, mate. Afternoon, Max. Afternoon, MN. Hope you're all well. Just quickly, because there's a lot of comments asking about Claude. Claude is still not well. He's still struggling a bit. Today, I've just spoke to him just before we come on here. He says hello to everyone and hope everyone else is well and safe, but he's still struggling at the moment.
Can I just add to that, sorry, as well?
Go on, mate.
All I can say to everyone is that we don't know what the situation is, but please, 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 I used to be a doubter. I used to go around saying, I'm against all this prohibition of my freedoms, but it's very, very, very dangerous. We haven't got out of this. The situation hasn't changed. We tried everything. We tried lockdowns. We tried tears. We tried relaxing it. It's not working. Whatever has been done. So whatever you do, please wash your hands. Stay at home. Wear a mask when you go out. Yeah. Even if you're going to shop, wear a mask. Wear a mask on the tube. It's contagious. It's contagious. Yeah. A lot of us have had tests. Some of us have had tests that come back conclusive or negative. But for every person who's doubted this, someone who's had it mildly and someone who's been in hospital, and some of you know someone who's had the final journey in their lives. So please, 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 it's serious now. No messing about.
Ken, just to add to that, mate, is that it's at home. I was never a doubter anyway, to be honest. I mean, follow the rules and everything. My nan passed away last Monday with it.
Sorry,
that's all right, mate. No problem. My cousin has lost his granddad on his other side, and also he's lost his nan and his granddad within a week. My wife's lost her best friend's dad and a neighbour. So that's 4 people within a week and a half that this virus has taken. Now, if that don't hit home to a lot of people that still is a bit negative about it, it's a bit, let's be honest, a bit anal about it, thinking that it's not real. We should be able to do what we want. Then I'm sorry, until it actually hits you, then the thing is with this, Ken, the way I look at it sometimes, it's the people that shout the loudest, and that's the ones that are saying that it was not. I'm not saying you or whatever, but the ones that are completely against it and whatever will be the ones in the end that lose someone that will blame the government afterwards, blame this, blame that.
Yes.
But they didn't believe in it, if you know what I mean. So look, let's stop talking about it. Just stick to the rules. And if we can stick to the rules, the quicker we get out of this, the quicker we can all go back to football, the quicker we can all go on holiday, and we can go back to pubs and everything.
Definitely. But remember one thing, right? Your life's not going to be the same for a while. You have to prepare for the worst and expect the best if it happens. But it's going to take longer. 2021 is going to be no different to 2020, all right? So just be patient. Yeah. And remember, just because we've got an inoculation doesn't mean that we still have to carry on as it was before. We still got to remember that this is savage.
Yeah. No, exactly,
now let's talk about football. Now let's get back to football.
exactly. Right, let's move on to the next one, Ken, which is this one, and that is obviously where are we? William Saliba went on loan to Nice for the rest of the season.
Right, how long you got? How long you got? Right, in terms of William Saliba, right. In my opinion, I think Mikel Arteta does not rate the player. Now, obviously, you know, I have differences. I have like differences in terms of like Arteta, but I respect that. But that respect only goes so far if he continues to tell the player to go out on loan. Now, the player when he first came to the football club has already been on loan. He's been on loan to Saint Etienne. He's come back, and you're still not sure about him. You can't go up to someone and say, "Oh, yeah, go on another loan because I'm not sure about you." If you don't rate the player, sell him. Get the money in. There's no shame in saying you don't rate a player, and there's no shame for the player. But to do what you're doing now is no good for the club. It's a waste of everyone's time. It's a waste of the fans' time. It's creating a debate on a player that we've been told that he's going to be a world star, that he's equivalent to Varane, that he's made for Fanga at Leicester, was less of a player than he is. Doesn't matter. I'm an old man, right? I'm 48. I remember Brian Clough in 1984 buying Gary Megson from Sheffield Wednesday. He bought him to play in his midfield. Saw him pre-season. Wasn't happy. Sold at Newcastle. 5 years later, he buys John Sheridan from Leeds. Brian Clough, same man. Wasn't happy what he saw in his pre-season. Sells him to Sheffield Wednesday. Neither of those players play the first team game. Clive Allen, we bought him in 1980 from Queen's Park Rangers, 19 years old. That didn't work out. So didn't play first game. Went straight to Crystal Palace. So he never made his league debut for Arsenal. Those two players never made their league debuts for Nottingham Forest. There is no shame in Arteta saying, "I don't rate him." Couldn't care less. You're the one who's paid to make these decisions. But when you're messing around, I've got a problem. All right? Don't ask the guy to go on loan. All right? If when he's already been on loan before, you don't rate him, sell him, get some cash in, let's move on, and let's for the love of God, get some reinforcements to this team. Because everyone, regardless of what you feel about the manager, what you feel about the football club or the owner, we need reinforcements. All right, we're a long way where we should be, and even a season where everyone's beating each other, we're still not part of the question. We're not, you know what I mean? We're not the answer, and we're definitely not going to be the question. So let's stop messing around. Don't rate him, sell him. Sell him in the summer.
Look, I understand where you're coming from, Ken. Do you know what I mean? I wanted him to start at the beginning of the season. I think that if he's given a chance, he will definitely be able to do a job. Look, he's a young man. He's going to make mistakes like all of us. Like even Arteta makes mistakes. You know what I mean? We're all going to make mistakes. But you need... We'll get onto that in a minute, Kenny. I know what you're laughing at. We'll get onto that. Right, so everyone makes mistakes. So why not give him a chance? I mean, if you look at you can look at it on the other side to a little bit. You know what I mean? If we look at both sides, one, he wasn't his player, was he? He didn't buy him, if you know what I mean. He come in before that.
Football's like that.
Like you said, you know, if you don't like him or you don't think he's going to be good, sell him, move on, and let's get another player in. I understand that. Obviously, there was stuff going on in the background in his personal life with losing his mum and dad, and obviously a 19-year-old boy coming away from his hometown, coming to a new country, new club. You know, who knows? Who knows what happened? He might not have settled in properly. We don't know. We don't know. Do you know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is it might not just be cut and finny. You know what I mean?
Of course.
You know what I mean? There could be other things in the background. Let's be honest and all. I mean, we could have played Saliba and he could have been a donkey. Do you know what I mean? He could have been a right donkey. He looked right out of place. And then everything that we're talking about, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that he is. I'm hoping that he'd be...
Yeah. You see, the thing is, sorry to cut in. If Arteta's got those doubts and he's in a situation where he's a club where he has to win, regardless of whether people sign for his mental health. Arteta has to win games. Cut him loose. Feel free to cut him loose. That's nothing to get real seen about. It's going to hurt him and it's going to hurt his pride. But I think this is hurting him more.
Yeah.
Being messed around by this manager.
No, listen, I completely understand where you're coming from. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, at the end of the day, I wanted him to start at the beginning of the season. I don't know why he hasn't compared to some of the defenders that Arteta has put out. But hopefully, all we can do is hope now, because obviously he's gone out for 6 months, that he comes back, he's not injured, he has a great pre-season, and he gets in the squad next season. That's all we can really say at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. Well, let's move on then, Ken, to the next one, which is a big one. The biggest probably story in Arsenal at the moment, and that is
I want evidence of that.
And that is this man, Mesut Ozil.
Oh my God, that is a show and a half. I'll tell you one thing, Tel, right? And this goes for all you podcast members or hosts, because I know you watch all the other podcasts to see what the other pods are saying and doing. I can guarantee you that when he leaves, all of you guys are going to do a show. You have to, because this player divides opinion.
Yeah.
In ways that he's never divided opinion. It's going to be bestsellers, or in terms of you people who run podcasts, multi-views. And the reason why it's multi-viewed, because I'm sure all of you guys, that when you do a podcast on this player, that you're going to make sure you do all your titles and make sure you get your titles right. In fact, you're probably arguing amongst yourself about putting what title in there. Because all you'll be thinking about subconsciously is about this has got to be bloody multi-viewed, because it's an interesting topic. But in terms of Mesut, first and foremost, nothing's concrete at the moment. We're hearing, that what we believe is that Mesut wants his money, which he's rightly entitled to, because that's a contract. It's a contract. He's done his question and answer. It's clear that if he was to go somewhere in Turkey, it's going to be Fenerbahce. Also, he wants to expand his brand in DC United. But so, we're not hearing anything concrete. The people in Turkey, the Turkish media, Sky Turkey, and also officials at Fenerbahce are saying that it's very close, but they're not sure of that. They're trying to reassure their fans and get one up on their rivals Galatasaray by pre-announcing a player that might not get there. But all intents and purposes, Arsenal have to have a situation where they're going to have to ratify a deal with Fenerbahce. Do Fenerbahce take a fee on him, or do Arsenal sort of supplement some of his wages, or do what a lot of clubs do nowadays when they pay him a salary until they finish paying for that remaining amount of his contract? That is something that has to be ratified. Which, let's face it, it's a bit of a farce, really, because if what I believe happened, that Mikel Arteta's got rid of Mesut Ozil for disciplinary reasons and because he's not singing the same hymn sheet, not turning up to training, trying to put his put his brand before the football club, or he's more falling out of love with football. He's caring more about his new family, his wife and his new baby in a way, and that's not in tune with the hymn sheet that the football club are going by. And Arteta said, right, off you go, boom, boom, you're a bad influence, you're a bad egg. I don't want you infecting my squad. I don't even want you in my near the squad, train your own, blah blah. Then if that's happening, why the hell have we not even explored the other prospects of paying him off and saying, hey, here you go, mate, here's your remaining year, do what you want, you can leave on a free. I don't understand why that wasn't explored. Either that's been explored, or Mesut Ozil said, no, I'm sitting out my contract, I'll go on my own terms. You know what I mean? But 6 months is a long time for a player that reputation. You thought I was going to say quality, didn't you? Didn't you? Didn't you? Didn't you? You did, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Reputation to be without playing football. It's become a farce now. Going on Twitter, going yar gunner yar. You don't love the club, Mesut. You're not a fan. You don't know. And let's be honest, I don't care if you don't love Arsenal. The reason why I don't care is because you're an employee. Me and Terry love Arsenal. It's our job to love Arsenal. It's our club. It's not your club.
Yeah.
Less of the yar gunner yar, mate. But I think the Mesut Ozil thing, it's something that is going to be a show for you guys when he leaves. And I think that's where you can explore the whole thing. Because we do it now, we're going to make it a Mesut Ozil show when we've got other things to discuss.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're totally right. Look, at the end of the day, I like Ozil. I think he's a great player. I think if you had the right team and right players around him, he will shine in any team.
Oh, not that one again. Not that one again.
I've been saying that for a while. But the thing is, at the end of the day, as much as I like him, he ain't going to play now. He ain't going to play. And I've been one of the hard people that's saying that he's got a contract. Let's forget about the money. I don't know why us fans go on about how much he's on all the time. It's nothing to do with us, what he's on. Arsenal gave it to him, the contract. That's the end of it. If we want to get rid of him, like you just said, I've been saying it for ages, just pay him off. Exactly. If he's going to be sitting here on the bench or at home playing fortnight, whatever, we've still got to pay him. So just pay him off. If we want to get rid of him, just pay him off.
Well, the thing is that the player's fallen out of love with football. He has fallen out of love with football. As far as I'm concerned, and that's probably going to be a show you're going to do in the future, but this is my view. Mesut Ozil was all about Germany. After Real Madrid, if you leave Real Madrid, your career is only going one way. It's not going upwards. It's going down. So the next best thing is Germany. Mesut Ozil, and the reason why he only cared about Germany is because he had a coach in Joachim Löw who basically accommodated Ozil. Because if you look at German football over the last 50 years, maybe 50, 60 years, it's all been about power football, Teutonic. They're like a machine. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everyone everyone covers so many distances. They tire teams out with their physicality and also their technical ability and also their direct play. And then they've got someone like Ozil who likes a bit of panache on the football field. So by doing that, they've built a side around him and they've accommodated him to the opposition they're playing. Joachim Löw did that. So when Mesut Ozil goes to Germany, he's got Toni Kroos. He's got other top class players to play with. He's got his Khedira, all these midfielders. Plus, he's got forwards who are going to put the ball in the net, like Muller.
Yeah.
At Arsenal, as you rightly said, or even though I don't agree with you, but you've got a good point. He didn't have the players, but again, I'm not convinced that Mesut Ozil was ever about Arsenal. It's always about Germany because as you've pointed out, he's going to be playing with good players around him. But let's be honest, right? I hear what you're saying about De Bruyne. He's got good players around him as well. But Jack Grealish hasn't got great players around him, is he? Bruno Fernandes at Man United. When we beat Man United in November, people were laughing at Man United. People were laughing at Man United by this time last year. But one player has gone to one player who's got the attributes of Mesut Ozil, more effective than Mesut Ozil, has gone to Man United and he's transformed that team. Not only is that, he's basically reinvigorated Pogba.
Yeah.
He's basically the captain. He's having a go at players when they're not in out of position. He's telling Maguire, I want you there. I want you to go tight in this player. I don't want you to sit off. He's shouting at him. He's shouting at the goalkeeper. That's what we wanted from Mesut. And that's the thing. He's not that kind of player, but £350,000 a week says you should be that player. Winning the World Cup says you should have been that player. He never wanted to take any leadership role whatsoever. He just wanted to hide in the background when things went wrong and then take the praise with it to the extent that we were giving him man of the match for him just putting his shorts, boots and socks on and his top on and crossing the white line. He was getting man of the match for that. One pass. And he won the game. Come on.
No, look, I understand where you're coming from. At the end of the day, you know, for the last sort of, let's be honest, 2 years, he's been none and void really at our club. But
Yeah, and that coincides with
what
what happened in Germany, isn't it? That coincides with him retiring from international football. After he retired from international football, that was it in terms of football.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Listen, look, we can go on about Ozil for another 2 hours. You know what I mean? So
no, not at all. Save it till his confirmed exit, and don't forget, Terry, get those titles right. Get those bookmarks and titles right, or you're not going to get views.
All I will add is that you know for a fact that I've been saying for a long time that come next season, you know what I mean, when we get rid of a load of players, that's when we can move on, and that's what I was relying on when Ozil would go. So if he goes now, that's a bigger bonus for me. Do you know what I mean? That's even bigger for me.
That's another show as well, Terry. That's another show as well.
Exactly. Just before we move on, I just want to let everyone know that we've got a new Facebook page. The link is in the chat now. If you could go over and like our page and share it to all your friends. If you're on any Arsenal groups, please get the word out there. There it is, because my other page has gone down for some reason. But we've done a new one called on the Banstas. So please go and like it, share it, and get the word out there. Also, like all of our videos and that. Right, moving on to the next one. Hopefully that'll be out quite soon. Maybe is this player, Socrates. Apparently, we've offered him to Liverpool. Kenny Ken.
Yeah, it's been offered to Liverpool, but there's also talk about him going to Real Betis as well. And also there was talk about him going to Genoa in Italy, where he played previously in his younger days. He's another player who's out of contract, who's been told by Arteta that he's surplus requirements. And I don't think it's a situation where he's a bad egg. I think it's just that there's an overload in terms of the defenders. Like we've got Gabriel Magalhaes, we've got Mari, we've got David Luiz, we've got Rob Holding. Oh, Jesus Christ, have we? And so there's a very much of an overload of centre halves, and we just couldn't fit him in. And then you've got Mustafi as well, who's still in part of the club, and then you've got Callum Chambers as well. So I think it was just like there was just no room in the inn for this player, and it's a shame. But he's another one who I believe never got himself fit for the demands of English football. He's not good enough, really. You know, he looks tough and he has the heart. He wants to do well, but you know, having the heart and wanting to do well in Premiership football is just not good enough, is it? And I don't think like Socrates has been good enough. I think he's probably one of the less successful, acquisitions, experiments under Unai. But he tried his best. But
you mentioned him first. I just want to say you've mentioned him first, not me.
Dave. I think what's happening about football, you got to learn. You got to tell the truth, because the thing about it, right? Everything's an opinion in football, but one thing's a fact in football: the scoreline, the goals don't move. Players are either going to lose full or get injured. Those are facts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And regardless of whether you can't sugarcoat those 4 facts, but opinions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what fact? Socrates has never been good enough for the football club. That's an opinion that's shared by a lot of people.
To be honest, Ken, I was just about to say, Socrates for me is the example that I will give how far back Arsenal as a football club have been going. I mean, when you look at Socrates, Konoziak, Mustafi, Xhaka, all these players, we've been accepting these players as fans for the last 16 years. Let's be honest, we have since we won that last trophy. Yes, we bought a few good players, great players in Sanchez or whatever. You know what I mean? You got your opinions and a few others. You know what I mean? But as a whole for me, from 16 years ago to now, we have been going backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards.
Always going to happen. Always going to happen for simple reasons that you look at the situation and wonder. Like I said, the Invincibles in 2004, one of the first things we did with the Invincibles in 2004 was change the way we played.
Yeah.
Not even within years, within months.
Yeah.
We brought Cesc Fabregas into the side, and when we became, and that was the first architects or birth of Barcelona. So we changed the way we played. We became soft. Teams realised because we're trying to play a more, how to say it, continental style of play, with more passing and movement. Teams thought, right, the best way to upset Arsenal was kick them off the field. Man United showed them everyone how to. And in the next season, when we lose Patrick Vieira, and we're fully fledged Barcelona, look at the games we were playing. We were getting beaten away from home because teams put their foot in. Got the first goal, made themselves difficult to beat, played the referee. We went down, the referee went, oh, this is the Arsenal that had 77 sending offs under Arsene Wenger. Stuffed them, but they can go jumping and running late. And we got no protection, and that's where we became soft Arsenal. So the decline was already there. Plus, teams like Chelsea first and Man United subtly copied the way we played in terms of the physique of the player that we were going to buy. They copied Arsenal. So by copying Arsenal and doing what we did was great, i.e. having big, physical, strong players, playing the game at high tempo, basically like attack. That's what's happened. You know what I mean?
I think to add to that is that obviously going back to what I was saying, like, the Arsenal that we know, if you know what I mean, like 16 years ago when you had the likes of Bergkamp, Henry, Parler, Vieira, Winterburn, Dixon, Sol Campbell, Adams, all these players, right? Is that if you would have put Saka and Smith Rowe and Tierney in that team,
they would get in those teams.
They were getting them teams, but not only were they getting them teams, they're probably 100 times better than what they are now because of the players around them.
Would they?
I think so.
I can argue, right? The reason, the answer to your question is simple, all right? We're 11th in the table, all right? Good players, really good players of ambition, don't go to teams that are not in the Champions League. They don't go to teams that don't challenge for the title, all right? The players you're going to get are the second-tier players who come because they can see Arsenal coming from a mile away. They know Arsenal have to pay Premiership wages, and they know Arsenal are desperate to get in that top four, just for starters, and then try and challenge. Yeah. So the calibre of your play you're getting is not the calibre of player that is going to go, that is turning down Chelsea. No one's going to turn down Chelsea, Man United, and Man City for Arsenal. They may be turned down for Chelsea.
But just to counter your argument there, Ken, I totally understand where you're coming from. But don't forget, going back when we know the Arsenal of Arsenal, we was in the Champions League for 20 years on the trot. 20 years on the trot.
Yeah.
And we still didn't go out and buy the top players.
But the thing is, we were in the Champions League 20 years on the trot, but we weren't challenging for the Champions League. We only got a one final. Final. Yeah, and that's the thing. You could be in the Champions Leagues on a regular basis, but if for the last, if you've got for a good few years, you're always getting knocked out. You're always getting knocked out when you get to last 16. That's shadow boxing the competition. That's not winning it. And then if you look at the league situation, a lot of seasons we're back 10 points off the leaders, 20 points. Yeah. That's not challenging. That's just doing the basics. And I think that's why we're not getting a calibre player. And now it's got worse because when you put all your eggs in one basket, the top four, what happens? It's the only ways down. So we're not. So I don't know what the situation is. Is that you either gonna get the second division players, or you somehow Mikel Arteta becomes a figurehead, which he's not. Or you get a figurehead manager and think, right, I'm going to play because of this guy's reputation. That's the only way I can think of. Or you get an owner who has an epiphany to spend money, but then he said, well, hang on, I am spending money. I am spending the club's money. But all these players you want don't want to come to my club. But that's the only one I can think of. Either a figurehead owner or someone, we win the lottery and we just say, get the best player we can. I don't think that would ever
happen until the owner changes. To be honest, Ken, if
Yeah,
I'm
but
being truthful,
well, I hear what you're saying. I hear you.
Sorry,
All right, you got a good point in that. Even though I think that I'm not so anti-owner as yourself. But one thing is, right, the first thing you do, if you're the owner of a football club, you don't buy the players, you get a big name manager. Now, for instance, if I was worth billions and billions of pounds, first thing I'm going to do if I bought Arsenal, right, and that's not personal and it's not part of my agenda, I'll sack Mikel Arteta and get one of the biggest names in. Because I know if I've got the biggest names in and I've got the biggest people behind the scenes, I know I'll be able to attract these players and throw money at it. Because this big man will want money. And then once I give him that money, he'll be the one to be selling the football club and the ambition for me on my behalf. Right? That's what I'll do. That's what a billionaire does. But the second thing is, you've got to realise that billionaires, when they do spend their money at the football club, they're not spending the money. It's a loan. We owe him the money. All that money that's spent at Chelsea is a loan from aubameyang to Chelsea. All that money spent at City is a loan. So it's not good on the other side. But
it's not even a loan, really, when you think about it, Ken, because when you buy these top players, for instance, let's just say off the top of my head, right, Messi or Mbappe. I'm just giving an example here.
Well,
if we bought them,
he's younger, isn't it?
Well, no, but I'm just saying, if we bought them now, the money on short sales alone would probably recover back at least.
And definitely. But what I'm trying to say, in terms of like to prevent financial doping, it has to be a loan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because one of the things that FFP have tried to do to City and Chelsea is that they tried to accuse them of financial doping, where actually they're actually a loan. It's actually loaning the money. You know what I mean? And that's how they got to do it officially to get through FFP. Yeah,
no, you're right. Let's move on anyway, Ken, because we've got a few more bits I want to try and get in before we quickly move on to about Arsenal themselves. And that's this one.
Everything's about Arsenal.
This one's probably going to divide opinion again and all, but let's see what happens. Let's see what you come up with, and that is obviously Bellerin at Arsenal. Obviously been linked, or there's rumours, paper rumours, if you want to believe the paper rumours, that he's agreed to join RB Leipzig abroad. Apparently he was asking for 100k a week. What's your thoughts on this, Kenny?
Well, this one's very upsetting for me because during lockdown, I know we've had conversations where I've been pushing for this player to get recognition to the first team, because I generally believe that we've got a striker that's going to go the whole way. I liken him to Harry Kane. How much money has Harry Kane saved Tottenham? You think about it. 206 goals for Spurs, and he's homegrown. He's come through their system. Gone out alone a couple of times, come through their system. He's probably saved Spurs about £100 million on a couple of strikers to try and get them challenging when he's done it all himself. This is our Harry Kane. And unfortunately for Arsenal Football Club is that he can't see a pathway to the first team. Again, I have to call out the manager. We're playing, if you look at the Europa League, we're playing Dundalk. We're playing Mulder and Rapid Vine. We're not playing top teams. We're going to win that group single-handed. And even when we won the group comfortably, the game against Rapid Vine, when all the fans came in, he played all the big boys. What do you need to play the big boys for? You know what they can do. The guy needs to see pathway to this first team. And if he doesn't see a pathway to his first team, he's going to say, no thanks, I'm off. Because guess what? He's seen young English players leave this country and go to Germany because they're going to get games. Bellingham didn't want to wait around at Man United. He wanted to go and play. Sancho didn't want to wait around at Man City. He wanted to go and play. We've set players out on loan like, Nelson, Smith Rowe, for some reason, German football is, how do I say it? It's now our centre of excellence. So it's not any wonder that someone would try and sell the club to him. And plus, Leipzig's a new club. They've got a young manager. Why would you not think about it? But it's a loss for Arsenal. Don't get me wrong. 100k a week, all right? Don't get me wrong, all right? I think he's asking too much. Because personally, as much as I rate him and as much as I think he's going to go a long way, ethically, when you haven't done anything yet in the game, just because I think you're going to do it, doesn't mean that we should be throwing money at you. Because you have to earn the 100k a week. You have to earn it. You have to be getting us up the table. You have to be scoring on a regular basis. Then you get your 100 grand a week. And then after a season, when you're still doing that, we can give you 200 grand a week because we don't want to lose you. You know what I mean? So the club stance and that, I agree with that. But in terms of the way he's been handled, I've got to call out our manager. And that, because I look at, if you're a young player now, you've got to be thinking, what's hell going on? Now, I'm not going to beat Eddie Nketiah up, all right? I'm not going to beat him up. He's a lad. He's a kid, all right? But I'm going to put this question to you, and I'm going to be the presenter for this one item now, Terry. Eddie Nketiah or Bellerin? Eddie Nketiah or Bellerin?
Well, I will answer that with a couple of people have been put in, right? And that is obviously Topper's put. I'm not stressed about Bellerin leaving. He has worse stats than Eddie. He goes on a little bit else and things like that. But if you look at all the stats and all the goals, Eddie is far more superior than Bellerin.
Yeah, because he's but no, in
under 23s and under 21s in that. Under 23s and under 20, not in the Premiership.
Yeah, but you talk about stats, right?
Yeah.
But you look at them. Look at them in a game. Just look at the attributes. I know you. I knew you. I knew. No, don't get me wrong. I saw the stats. I knew you were going to come out the stats. But
no, I didn't. I'm just saying what people were saying.
No. I'm not saying you can't stats. But from what I'm looking for in a footballer, there's only some way Eddie's not Arsenal level. That's all I'm trying to say. Eddie's not Arsenal level. This kid could be Arsenal level. All right.
I'm going to be honest with you, right? I've not really seen a lot of Bellerin, right? I've not seen a lot of him.
Respect that.
What I have seen of him, he does look a fantastic prospect. Obviously, he's come on and he scored a couple of goals in quick succession. Let's be honest. With Eddie, I think it's different. For me, Eddie is just a goal poacher. If you leave Eddie, of what I've seen of Eddie, I've seen a lot of Eddie. If you leave him in that box and you cross the ball to him, I'd say 8 times out of 10 he's scored a goal.
So this guy.
I'm not seeing a lot about. I'm just being truthful.
But from what I've seen this guy, he does. And not only that, he can play with his back to the goal. He can link the play, and he actually knows where he wants the ball. He makes the right runs.
Right.
That's what I've seen. And I'm not just talking about in the reserves, because what he did, what Bellerin was doing in the under 23s the last 2 seasons, where he's scoring the loads of goals. The fact that when I do see him play in Europe, it's the same sort of thing. He's going to the player. I've made a run. I want the ball there. And I'm not saying Eddie doesn't do that, but all I'm trying to say is that up there, from what I've seen, the little I've seen up there, he's a better player than Eddie. And I think up there, he's gonna take us where we need to be rather than Eddie. He could save us a lot of money, because I know a lot of people are talking about Edouard of Celtic, being the heir apparent to a Lacazette and blah blah, and playing that position. We don't have to spend money on Edouard and Lacazette or from Celtic. Get this guy in. I'm convinced he's much better. But I'm convinced that he's going to be goal away.
Listen, there's everything is pointing that he's going to be a fantastic player. He's going to go the right way and everything. There's just a couple of things that piss me off about it. And the first one is the main one, right? Is I don't understand our fans, Arsenal fans, lower their expectations and their love of Arsenal, because let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. This is a player that we don't know what's going to do yet.
Yes.
That's the truth of the matter, right? That's the truth of the matter. And let's be honest,
but that's not all fans, though. Remember, he's been talked about for a long time because people have been singing his praises behind the scenes at the football club, and a lot of fans in it. But if you go by the majority,
the reason why I said that is because what I was about to say now is that if he's going to be that good and he's got Arsenal running through his veins, then he will sign any contract. Now, look, the reason why I say that is because, hold up, just 2 seconds, is because he's only 19 years old, right? And let's start off with that. He's only 19 years old, right? He's got a long way to go, let's be honest. He's got a long career ahead of him. And at the moment, right, even if you don't like Arteta or whatever, you've got to see what's happening with Arsenal team at the moment. You've got Saka that's cementing his place now. Smith Rowe looks like he's cementing his place. You got Tierney that's cementing his place. You got Gabriel that's just come in. You got Partey that's got to come back. You got Martinelli. That's 6 players there, right? That are probably all under 24.
But the thing is,
hold up, sorry, mate. They're all under 24 years old, yeah. And obviously that's a very young team. Now, if them ones are all starting, which, you know, let's be honest, more than likely, them 6 players, we want them starting in our first team.
Okay, quite fair enough, yeah.
Then you've got another 5 places. Obviously, a goalkeeper, that's 6 places. And then you've got 4 other places. So at this precise moment, right, he's not going to get in the team, right? I know we're saying that he needs to get on the bench at the moment. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not on about that. But at the moment, right, you've got players in front, a lot of players in front of him. So at 19 years old, my question would be to any Arsenal fan out there, right? You want him to sign a new contract, if it's 100 grand a week, whatever the money is, right? But just ask yourself this thing. If he's doing this now at 19 years old and demanding all this, that I want to be near the team and blah, 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 what's going to happen when we give him a new contract, we give him that 100 grand a week, 80, whatever it is, right? And then all of a sudden, you know, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, Man United come in and say, look, we will guarantee you first football here. We'll give you like 120 grand a week. His eyes and his head for me is already turned now. So he's going to do that again.
Dave, is he? But the thing is, you've got good points there, and you've got genuine concerns. However, he's not the first young player, 19-year-old, to do that. Now we've seen evidence of that at another club. The evidence is Paul Pogba. Remember, he was a Man United junior. You know, he, all intents and purposes, wanted a pathway to the first team. Paul Scholes retired in 2012. All of a sudden, Paul Scholes, 6 months later, decides he wants to come out of retirement when there was a vacancy in the midfield. Pogba thought was that was his vacancy. He said, hang on here, blah, blah. And then he can't see a pathway to the first team. So he's buzzed off to Juventus. And then he's come, now may not have had to bring him back. Are we going to have to do the same thing with Bellerin? No, I'm not Bellerin, because Paul Pogba's situation to go to Juventus was ambition to play football. It weren't about, I want this and want that. And I think it's the same thing with this guy. It's pathways to the first team. He feels he doesn't want to wait his turn. He thinks he should be in that team right now. There's a lot of fans who think that Florin should be in that team. Pushing. Not pushing, at least on that bench. And from what I'm seeing, remember, I don't know the lad. All I know about him is Nigerian. All Nigerian people from Nigerian backgrounds know each other. You know what I mean? And I know he's born in New York and everything. But this kid strikes me as someone who wants to get into that team. And if he can't see a pathway to that football team, then he's going to go elsewhere. The 100 grand a week is his agent talk. Come on, Terry. If I was your agent, mate, and I saw Arsenal throwing confetti all over the place on other players, especially someone who's sitting on his contract, and knowing the footballing climate, knowing how much money other young players are getting at other clubs, big clubs, damn right I'm asking for 100 grand a week. I'd be a fool not to. You'd have to say yes, do you?
Yeah. Listen. No, I agree with where you're coming from with the money. All I'm trying to say is look, if you're being real now, right? If you're being real, let's rank him, right? Because at the moment we've probably got 5 strikers at our club.
Right.
Lacazette, Aubameyang, Martinelli, Eddie, and Bellerin.
All right, fair enough. All right,
where are you putting Balogun in that list? First, second, third, fourth, or fifth?
I don't know. From what I've seen, remember, that's a good question because this is you're basically a wicket keeper, and I'm about to hit a 6, and you're about to stump me out my crease because you're right. You're saying, well, hang on here. I don't know whether whether the spinner is going to bowl leg break, a googly, or a flipper.
Yeah,
but I'm still going to go and try and hit you out the ground.
Yeah,
and
I know what you're saying.
That question is a Shane Warne ball that you just given me. We don't know, but what we do know is the potential of the kid. Yeah, and I believe that this kid is pushing for that first team to the extent that he could be the best striker at the football club. That's what I think, and that's what I've seen from those 2 games. And I think he's going to go the whole way. And I think he's ready for first team football now. I reckon that he'll give us more in the team as centre forward than aubameyang. It's no good calling Martinelli. Martinelli's not a centre forward. Forget Martinelli at centre forward. He plays in the Aubameyang position on the left forward. That's where he plays his best football. Playing at centre forward, you're killing him. All right, he can't play with his back to goal. He can't hold the ball up. But what he does, he tries to make things happen. Martinelli's a street footballer. He's got the Alexis Sanchez, Tevez, and like I said, Tevez and Luis Suarez about him to the extent that they do things that are uncoachable. You know what I mean? It's street footballers. Wayne Rooney's like that street footballer. So you can't, you can't. You can't play in centre forward because they're just too. They got this sort of street footballing mind that's quicker than anything else. That's not coachable. But in terms of centre forward, come on. About Lacazette has just hit a rich vein of form. I personally think he's the best centre forward at the club, but he's not getting any younger and he's not the future anymore. He's had enough chances to cement himself as a legend, and it hasn't worked out for him. Injuries, loss of form, being messed around, having a Aubameyang in the same team. I don't know, whatever that is, it hasn't worked out for him. So he could definitely take that place. In terms of Eddie is raw footballer. And I don't think he's Arsenal level. I think Eddie will do a good job at, and I say it's a great respect, he'll probably do a good job at a West Ham, West Brom, maybe at a Wolves, but not an Arsenal. That's just a personal opinion, not fact. Because remember, anything can happen if I don't play a straight bat and hit you over the out the ground for 6. But I mean, it's just a hunch.
Listen, are you available tomorrow?
What time?
Same time again, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, of course I am. I'm doing something with I'm doing something at 5 o'clock with Lee Gunner's show. So it might be cutting it fine, but surely there's
do it for an hour. That's what I mean. Because at the moment,
how comes you can only do 3 o'clock? Are you working nights?
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock.
Do it at 1.
1 o'clock. All right, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right. Because what I'm saying is we're going for an hour now. I want to quickly talk about the game tonight. Yeah. And what we'll do tomorrow then is we'll cover the re-signing of Rob Holding and all the rumours of the incoming. If there are going to be any incoming.
Yeah. Definitely. 1 o'clock tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah. All right. So today's show was about the outgoings and obviously Balogun and all that. And I just want to finish off quickly by having talking about the game tonight. Just quickly and all with Balogun, just to finish that off, Ken. I mean, obviously I've seen in the comments that apparently the paper talks are all saying there's 15 clubs after him and all things like that, which obviously suggests that obviously everyone's been watching him. He's going to be a great talent and all that. But if you're being real, because I think, me personally, no, even if he went to another English side now, he's not going to be the first team striker.
We don't know that, do we? But I know what you're trying to say. I knew you were coming out of that. He's local to you, isn't he? He's local to you, isn't he? Yeah,
I mean. But you know,
and he's got sense
tonight from Liverpool. You know what I mean? So I'm just, if you look at it realistically, or even at Sheffield United or Fulham or anything like that, is Balogun, if we sold them to any of them, realistically going to go straight in as number 1 as their striker? He's not. If you're being real, he's not.
If the thing about it is that it's different players. You've got to realise, right, in football, there's 19-year-olds who are 19 and green, but there's 19-year-olds who have basically got the footballing development of some 5 or 6 years older. Wayne Rooney at 19 isn't a Balogun at 19, is he? Cristiano Ronaldo at 19 is just some player. And you look at Martinelli. Martinelli's virtually the same age as these kids, but we're elevating him to highest level because we believe, in terms of his development, is a higher band and level than Balogun's. So you talk about age, and some players do look their age. Like Phil Foden at Man City, he belies his age because of the fact that his development, like I said, is the development of someone who's an experienced operator of this league, even though he's a young lad. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that happens a lot of football clubs. But a lot of young players need to go. Jack Grealish, when he was a kid, you always knew that he was ready for first team football. So you could say that Brewster, young, is finding his way, but it doesn't mean that Balogun's going to find his way because he may have the sort of footballing development of someone a bit older than him. You know what I mean?
No, look, I mean, just to finish that off quickly, you're right. It could go either way. Let's be honest, it could go either way. He's 19 years old, great prospects, but can he do it in the big league? We don't know. Hopefully, we will see that. We don't know what's going to happen yet. Hopefully, we can turn it around and hopefully sign him. But my only one worry is, like I said to you earlier on, Ken, is that if he's doing this now, do you know what I mean, with a contract, has he really got Arsenal in his blood and he really wants to stay? Do you know what I mean?
I think what we need to do, right, is that we need to leave all of that, all right? And let's remember one thing, right? The biggest star at the football club is the club. Forget these players. Who gives a hoots whether they love the club or not? They're just hired help. They're hired help. When we don't want them, we're screaming and shouting them, calling them all sorts, abusing them out of the club. You don't like Xhaka. You want him gone. There's loads of players you want out. You're probably not a fan of Bellerin. You want them out because they're no use to you. So you can't, on the same hand, ask these players to love the football club when full well when they stop being useful to you, you want them gone. Forget all that. The only people who should have the club in their blood is the fans. It's your club. It's my club. It's our club. It's not Kroenke's club. He owns the shares, but he don't own the art of the club. Forget all that. Yeah. I don't understand why players sing fans' names. Why do you sing that? Fans sing players' names. Why do you bother? They kiss the badge because they think it's the right thing to do. They pretend they don't celebrate against their former club because they think it's the right thing to do. They want to celebrate when they score a goal, but they don't because they don't upset the fans who probably want them out in the first place. They kiss the badge because they want to identify you. They want you to give them a less of a hard time. They play crap. Yeah. You know what I mean? Xhaka don't give a fuck because, excuse my language, I know it's kids' words. Xhaka don't care about Arsenal fans no more. As far as Xhaka's concerned, Arsenal fans are leeches, liars, bullies, and they bullied him out of they're trying to bully him out of the club. They insulted his family, his baby, and they took away his captaincy, something that he coveted and loved so much. So he's got no love for Arsenal, no love for the football club, no love for the fans. He's no way was he going to apologise for getting sent off against Burnley. As far as the fans demands for that, the only thing that you're going to get from Xhaka was a finger, maybe two.
The only thing with that, Ken, why do fans want an apology? I don't understand. Why are people waiting on Twitter and Facebook and all that rubbish? Because they play it to say sorry.
Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why they want an apology? Because there's a couple of players, high-profile players, who are liaising and consorting with certain fans because they think those certain fans represent the fan base.
Yeah, I get that.
So they consult with them. They consult with them and think, oh, if I get in with this fan, they're not going to give me an hard time. And blah blah. They've misinterpreted what the fan base. In terms of Xhaka, Arsenal fans are full around importance. You don't go around and booing continuously at home and away games, insult his kids, and then expect him not to tell you to go F yourself. And then you want an apology. Do me a favour. Is he a schmuck? Is he a schmuck? Is he a pork chop? Only a schmuck and a pork chop is going to apologise to our fan base who did that to him.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Get real.
I'll totally get it. Right, let's move on, Ken. That's all the transfer outgoings done for today. Let's move on to tonight's game. Big game, Crystal Palace. You touched on it at the beginning quickly. Quickly go over it again, mate. Give us your thoughts.
All right,
let us know.
I'm going to quickly go over it, right? I'm going to quickly go over it. Let's look at Palace's team, right?
Yeah.
Palace can either be Port Vale or Brazil. Even Claude and Roy doesn't know which Palace is going to turn up. But we haven't beaten Palace in 4 years. We haven't even looked like beating Palace in 4 years. We went 2-0 up last season and they still came back. We went a goal up last season and they still came back. They are the toughest team to play in the Premiership. The reason why they're the toughest team to play in the Premiership is because you don't know which Crystal Palace to turn up. You either got the Crystal Palace, right, that lost 7-0 to Liverpool, or you got the Crystal Palace that gave Man United a bloody nose. We don't know. What you do know is that Zaha is a fantastic footballer and that he wants to play for Arsenal and that Unai Emery wanted it at the football club and that he is a very dangerous player and he knows how to win a penalty. He's the only player I know who can foul a defender and still get a penalty for it. Then you've got Eze, who's an ex-Arsenal junior, bags of pace, bags of skill. They could play Townsend, inverted winger, number 10. They're a very direct team. Remember that right-hand side I don't like. I don't like that right-hand side with Bellerin in the side. I don't like Rob Holding, a right centre-back. Crystal Palace have got the armoury to beat us up down there. So we need to be careful. Yeah. We've got to remember that Benteke now is that we've got to stop those crosses because Benteke is excellent in the air. He'll win the headers and he thrives on crosses. So we've got to make sure that down the left-hand side and right-hand side, we stop those crosses coming in. We know that Tierney, right, is gonna do his job. We know Mari's gonna do his job, but we're not sure about Bellerin. If Crystal Palace want to win this game, go down the right-hand side because I don't give a damn what anyone says. We have not solved that right-hand side. And that's one of the reasons why Willian plays instead of Pepe. Because he needs him there tactically to give Bellerin protection. Doesn't do it very well, but because he does it for about 60 minutes, then we bring on Pepe and then the horses run wild. But in terms of how we're going to win the game, stop Crystal Palace down that right-hand side, cut out the supply to Benteke from the wings, and what we have to do as well, win that midfield battle. Yeah. Another thing as well is isolate Cahill. If Cahill plays, try and isolate him because he's going to win everything in the air and he's a good organiser. Go down Crystal Palace's right-hand side because if they play Nathaniel Klein, they're going to leave space there because Nathaniel Klein is very good going forward offensively down right at right back. But is he good defensively? Is he more like if they play Joel Ward, then they're going to be more solid down that their right-hand side, our left-hand side. But what we need to do is go down at the left, Crystal Palace's left-hand side. Down our left-hand side, Crystal Palace's right-hand side, because I think that's where they're weak and that's where they make mistakes, especially if they play at right back, because I don't think they give their left backs a lot of protection. So that's where we're going to win the game. Is down those sides, down the flank, especially the right-hand side.
Just before I give my thoughts on it, we've got a super chat here quickly. Joseph said, "Big up Kenny and Terry, you good? Come on, you Gunners tonight." Thank you, Joseph, and definitely. What's your team for tonight? Considering that apparently Gabriel and Partey will possibly be back and be able to go in the team, would you put them straight in your team? Let us know your side for tonight, Kenny.
All right, I'll do it really quickly. In goal, Leno. Right back. Oh, God. I would like it to be Maitland-Niles, but I think it's going to be Bellerin. Centre halves are going to be... Jesus Christ. I don't want it to be Rob Holding. I want it to be Mari and Gabriel. I don't care if it's two left-sided players, right? And I have two left footers and everything. But I want Bellerin to have protection. So I can't play Rob Holding today, but he's going to play Rob Holding. Midfield, I'm going to leave out Granit Xhaka. I'm going to play Partey in his place. I'm going to play El Neni. The reason why I'm playing El Neni is not because of his footballing ability. It's because I think him and Partey work well in a tandem together. Because El Neni is a water carrier, whereas Partey is the sort of player who can destruct and construct going forward. That he's got a football brain. He sees the bigger picture. In terms of like, so I play those two. Also, I'll play Emil Smith Rowe because he deserves. There's no tactical reasons for leaving him out.
Yeah.
No tactical reasons for leaving him out. Then what I'll do is I'll play that, which means there's no place for Willian, which a lot of people will be happy about anyway. And then I'll play my front three: aubameyang on the left, Lacazette in the middle, and down the right, and then the right hand side, Saka. I think that's the best side that I think is going to win the game tonight. What's your team?
Just before I give my team, Anthony said Terry to bench, press Morn and Kenny 1,000 to 1. Go to. I don't listen. Sometimes you got to know when you're beaten.
Put 500 quid on it. I'll let him win, and we'll share the money. We'll share the spoils.
Listen, there's not many things I back down on, as Kenny knows, but on that one, I will back down and let Kenny take the.
Hey, remember, 500 quid at 100 to 500 quid, 100 to 1. I'll put 250. We'll share the spoils, mate. Because I'll tell you one thing, right? You put all the money in, but I want to share your winnings because I'm letting Terry win.
That sounds good to me, mate. That sounds good to me. Right, my team for tonight, obviously Leno in goal, Tierney left back. For me personally, I don't mind Rob Holding. I think he's quite a good defender. That's just my opinion. Listen, I know Gabriel is going to be a fixture in there all the time, but he's just come back from injury. Them two have played together, Mari and Holding, over the last 4 games. Only conceded 1 goal with 1-4. We played Chelsea too. Not saying that Chelsea didn't have a great game that game or whatever, but we can only beat what's in front of us. So at the moment, them two will play for me tonight. I'd have Gabriel on the bench. I would have Maitland-Niles at right back, but like Kenny just said, he ain't going to do that, so it's going to be Bellerin. For me, it's going to be a shock, and I don't, I want him out of my team. But for me tonight, I'd have Xhaka in as the midfielder.
I don't disagree with what you said. I don't disagree with it. I just think that thing with Granit Xhaka is what he's done in this team. Granit Xhaka is good tactically. He's good at covering his teammates when they're out of position, and he's a good passer the ball, and he's got. He's a good football brain. But what Granit Xhaka can't do, he can't bloody run.
Well, exactly. The reason why I'm having him there is because obviously I bring Partey back in and I bring Smith. Obviously, keep Smith Rowe there. So for me, if you have them two play in, them two will be able to get forward, no problem, and they'll be able to get back to real Pat Xhaka. Just leave Xhaka on the bloody halfway line to help the defence and whatever. Tell him not to come across it because anything else he does, and pass the ball forward to them two to get us up attacking straight away. That'd be my bloody instructions to him. So for me, I just think he'd be better than El Neni for me. So I'd have Xhaka there, Partey and Smith Rowe. I'd have Saka on the right. I'd have aubameyang on the left. Just for the pure fact, listen, it was an easy goal, a tap in, or God knows what. But sometimes when a striker goes through these things, these drats and all that, they just need something like a deflection, anything to score them, to get them back on their way. Hopefully that goal will pick him up and move us forward and get him going in the right direction. So I'd see what he's like in the first half. If he's still playing crap or not doing anything, then obviously you've got substitutions there with Pepe, other players that take off, and have Lacazette up front in the middle. That'd be my team, Kenny.
Definitely. Now it scores. I'm going to say 3-2, but I'm not saying who to because we don't know. It's Crystal Palace.
Right, 3-2. I've said 3-1. I'm
But
going
you
to go
don't know
3.
who to. But who to? Who to?
I'm going to
This
go
is Crystal
Arsenal.
Palace to play.
Yeah,
I'm going to go 3.
I just think I don't know why, Ken. I've just got a feeling about tonight. I've got a feeling about tonight. If Smith Rowe plays, Saka plays, Lacazette plays, and you got Tierney playing, you got Partey on the pitch. You know that you got Gabriel to come on, and you got Pepe to come on, and things like that. I just think we have turned a corner to a certain extent. Listen, I'm not saying that we're going to be world beaters now. Do you know what I mean? That's far from the case. Do you know what I mean? But we've turned the corner. I think the confidence between the young players and even putting Lacazette in there, not saying that he's young, I'm saying, but with them young players, you know, twice now in 2 games, they've all linked up together and scored a goal. So, I mean, you know, that confidence, you know, going forward should be brilliant for Lacazette himself, especially with Saka and Smith Rowe. It's, you know, there was talks and all that Martinelli might even be available tonight, but I wouldn't play him. I'd wait.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what's happened is that Martinelli can't play if Aubameyang plays in the side.
Yeah,
unless because at the end of the day, you can't leave out Lacazette. You just can't. You can't look at Lacazette because Lacazette, when he's scoring goals, it makes no sense whatsoever. So Martinelli's just going to have to wait his turn. But the good thing about it is that you've got the luxury of the fact that we're winning football matches in the last 4 games for players to find it difficult to get in. It wasn't in these, the Chelsea selection was a blessing in disguise because certain players who haven't been playing well, who should know better, should have got the experience to play better, weren't available. So it was we got. It was a it was a nothing to lose selection against Chelsea, and it worked.
Yeah.
But I'm still going 3-2, but I'm not going to tell you who to because I don't know whether Brazil or Port Vale's turning up today.
No, listen,
but it'll be a great game.
No, it will be. Look, listen, we can't wait for it. Don't forget, everyone, we're doing a live watch along tonight. We'll be on about 8 o'clock. It could just probably be me, Diesel. I think Glenn might be making an appearance. Please come over, give us a watch. Really appreciate all your help. Kenny, really appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, it's a good laugh. It's a good laugh. There's loads of things to discuss. But, at the end of the day, good thing about it is that we've got football to discuss. I know,
Exactly.
and I just think we're just lucky people. But in terms of like footballers hugging and kissing, you know what? We're all shitting our pants. So we're all worried about, anything being contagious. You know what I mean? Personally, I think, at the end of the day, one thing this shows, we ain't got a clue about this virus. The scientists ain't got a clue about the virus. The government haven't got a clue about the virus because you're learning everything new about it. You know what I mean? You're learning everything that is new about it. You can't promise anything. You can aim to have us all back in the grounds. You can aim to have us all on the tube, all going into the office, but you can't guarantee it, even with the vaccine, because you don't know anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing that's factual though, this isn't sustainable. Working from home on a permanent basis isn't sustainable. Playing football without crowds isn't sustainable. So we've got to make a decision and accept that this is with us for life, and we just have to learn. We have to find a way to live with it. And if that's the vaccine, then crack on with it. It's not going away, COVID.
No, you're right, mate. James Steele, thank you very much for your comment, mate, and same as everyone. And I know you've asked a question about Richard Garlick. We will talk about him and cover him tomorrow. He's going to be our new
football liberations. He's going to deal with contracts. So he's going to deal with contracts. He's because I know they've Fasmi. He's left the football club, so he's a replacement. That's someone we've been looking to replace for a long time.
Yeah. No, exactly. So we'll be covering that tomorrow, along with hopefully some incomings, a little bit of Rob Holding, and obviously we'll dissect the game of tonight, and hopefully we're talking about us winning and going up the league even further. So thank you very much, everyone.
One more thing, though.
Go on, Ken.
One more thing. How comes Arsenal haven't looked at someone like Christian Perslow? He's been everywhere. He's been at Liverpool, he's been at Villa, he's been at Chelsea. Why aren't Arsenal looking at him? He's got the experience, got the contacts. Why aren't Arsenal looking at that sort of as someone with that sort of experience?
Yeah. No, listen. I mean, what we do is that's a good question, and anyone that don't know who he is or who
Read up on him. Read up on him.
Yeah, exactly. Read up for him. That's a bit of homework for tonight, and we'll talk about him tomorrow. Ken, thank you very much. We really appreciate it, mate.
All right, speak to you later. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, Ken. Thanks, mate. Thanks, everyone. See you all tomorrow. Arteta in.
No answer.